Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 15th of June. So I'm going to put a tag at the bottom. We've got 2 free days coming up in our live trading room. So I'm going to put a tag at the bottom there. It's the 23rd, 24th of June. I say June? It is June, yes, that's alright. Just check I've got the right month here. So 23rd, 24th of June, we're having 2 free days. So if you're interested, the tag will be eventually at the bottom of this video. It may not be immediately, it will be very soon though. Okay, right, let's have a look at what's going on today then in the markets. Now, risk factors, news events coming out today. 1:15 we've got Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking. That's due. He's due to speak about future growth for UK-based financial services. Now, that could create a bit of volatility, as I said yesterday. It could be a bit of a mover. Aside of that, then we've got core retail sales and US core retail sales and US PPI. PPI inflation figures at the moment, you may get a reaction to them. If they come out higher than expected, yet what I've noticed is that as soon as they're sort of out for a few minutes, then it gets back to normal because they're being ignored because jobs are more important than inflation at this stage, according to the Fed. Of course, that could all change tomorrow. We'll find out. But for now, we're really looking at the numbers. Probably a bit short-termism. Core retail sales again. We may get a sort of decent movement. There were checks sent out from the US government, which may help that more than even a forecast. So again, a positive number may come out there. So volatility around 130. Just watch for it, and then just see if it reverses, if it does give anything kicking towards the US dollar. Right, industrial production then at 2:15 as well in the US, so maybe seen lesser, but probably more important than the underlying things. But again, you're comparing numbers with when they were still in different states of lockdown. Right, let's now look at the technicals. Euro eventually managed to find support off its daily 50 yesterday. It looked a bit iffy at some stages. It did eventually get there. Volatility of the days are dropping. If you look at the average true range across each of these markets, as I look at them, they continue to drop at this moment. We're getting back towards genuine summer levels, to be fair, but some of this will be driven by the waiting of things for the Fed report, etc., which is on Wednesday, and that will be the key report this week. And then I think that might be the end of the key reports for a little while, but I know we've got Bank of England the following week, but in terms of the dollar back, it certainly could. Well, hopefully we'll see something more normalish after that. Anyway, bounce off the 50 here on the daily euro. It's heading back towards. I was looking for this yesterday in a much quicker movement, expecting it to happen a lot earlier. It did about 30 pips for hours and hours yesterday, and eventually later in the morning it started moving a little bit more. It was quite a sluggish old day. I'm saying later in the morning. What time was it? It was 8 o'clock. That was the 8 o'clock bar. That was it. Consolidated, then pushed up a little bit. Today we've already seen the daily pivot hit. We're running in towards this weekly pivot, and I will look at what happens here. I'm still erring a little on the shorter side, but it's a difficult picture. Why the short side, lower highs, lower lows through this picture here. That said, we could run back up and put in a sort of if I was to draw a trend line across the top here, could run into that trend line and react yet again. So just a bit wary, and points like a weekly pivot can often be a decent turning point in the markets. So the easy way for me to look at this is at the break of the trend line across the lows here. So if we start seeing a break of this, well, then I'm to the short side. Otherwise, I will look at how I'll possibly I'll get into the longer side as the the day progresses. The pound, he says. I did actually get a trade off the pound yesterday, put in a nice little bearish signal, and we got a small movement off it. It was barely anything though in terms of price action, and you see that the small day there yesterday, very small, was, well, I must admit I was sort of looking for more than what happened here. We've been back into this weekly pivot now on the pound. It's dancing around here and struggling as it sits. Now the news obviously for the lockdown continuing, or partial lockdown continuing, still sits there. Again here I'm just for the downside. I think upside I may just have to leave this, but if it starts breaking down, there's a trend line across the lows here I'd be more interested in. Again, built on what it's been up to here, this sort of slowly lower highs lower lows pattern. Okay, dollar yen moved yesterday, started getting a bit of a softening against dollar here. This is dollar yen, of course. The dollar pushing up quite strongly relatively. Say relatively, these aren't very big moves at all. Again, you can see the average true range. I've left it on these bars here down to 50 pips on the euro, on the yen. Pushing up here, higher low confirmed through on the 4 hourlies, consolidating where it's sitting here. It does appear a bit on the softer side, yet to touch that weekly pivot. Again, I think any retracement back to that would be a bit more interesting, but we have got some divergence over the highs here, but if it just pushes through where it just pushes through, it hasn't triggered that divergence as such. A break below that 110.02 would be a bit more likely to trigger maybe a bit more move towards that weekly pivot at least. There may be other technical support levels at 109, these prior highs here, 109.83, that sort of area, but we'll see how that progresses. But I wanted to be long on it about a month ago, but can't jump aboard at the moment. Aussie dollar's been chopping and it's continuing choppy. Inside bar yesterday. Day trading point of view, I'm just leaving this alone at the moment. There's nothing I can do with it. Canadian dollar, it yesterday pulled off a little bit. Bearish harami. It might pull back a little bit more, but again, average true range down to 64 pips, really coming off now. I think in time this is going to be good again in terms of the short side. We could be looking at again waiting for the sort of a more significant break here, break below this these key moving averages, and this trend line to the downside would be a bit more interesting. But where it's sitting up at the moment with the higher lows, higher highs up there, well, there may be some more bullishness coming through there. But over time, I think economies where we've got this more tapering view, this more robust sort of basis that they're sort of working to, we'll see. Maybe just when I say over time, I mean over the summer period here, we might see the Canadian dollar come back. But for now, well, it's dithering here, and I need a bit more of a clear signal to be on the short side of the Canadian dollar. But I would like to be at some stage. Okay, of course that would. There's a lot of dependencies on tomorrow's Fed meeting. Side of that, New Zealand dollar, quick look at the New Zealand dollar. Again, a very difficult one here. At some stage I think this will come good again, and start pushing up, but for now it's almost a short candidate here, maybe back towards its 200. It does look soft, but it could be very, very slow and a long old journey back to that sort of way. Okay, some of the cross pairs, quick couple of cross pairs. Euro yen, there we are. It's nearly there for me. I was looking at this trend line, popped it on yesterday afternoon. It's sort of line in the sand. Be nice if we get some sort of maybe a breakout and retrace, maybe more sensible move. But I'll watch that this morning. I'm sort of looking at that euro yen, thinking that's got potential. Okay, aside of that then. Another pair, I was looking at the CAD yen actually, but it's again, look, same sort of picture really. So a couple of markets there. CAD yen, it's starting to, well, it's walked its way a bit sideways at the moment out of that trend line. I'll need to look at that in a little bit more detail, but there is the potential on the CAD yen for more upside as well. Okay, there's some cross pairs. Looking at the S&Ps. the market that can do no wrong, and it's pushing up once again. And again, anything that comes out of tomorrow's meeting, which is a bit, if it's just left alone, it's all good movement for the likes of the S&Ps, Nasdaq, etc. It will be seen as positive. What can be seen again, and looking at the sort of the volatility has fallen out of this market as well, dropping right the way down now from the sort of 60 levels, but even the previous 40 sort of levels we saw in late April, early May there, is dropping below those now. Really less volatility in some of these markets. And often you get that sort of tightening in markets. Okay, this is pushing up pretty well at the moment, but after a period of low volatility, you tend to get high volatility. It's just the way the markets move. Whatever would be the driver, well, we'll see, have to wait and see on that. Could be tomorrow, but I doubt it. I think it'll be later in the year. But for now, S&P is pushing up there and may well have some way to go yet. Gold. So gold. It's put this sort of divergence in. Here we go. No, it hasn't actually. I thought I'd seen somewhere it put divergence in. Obviously not on this time frame. Let's just run down the time frames. I did see somewhere a bit of divergence, but obviously no. No, it's extremely down here. May still have a move down here. Okay, it's maybe not gold at all. Then I was looking at, I saw at one stage. Gold though, just coming down to 60-minute here. Maybe a break back above on the safe side. That would break above that 50. At that point, it would also give us a higher low. We'll actually get a higher low just before that 50, but with it running towards the 50, I think we'd be safer if you were looking on the long side. The weekly pivots up here is quite a good target, but a break of that 50 would be a bit more of a sensible entry. On gold, for me anyway, oil's just continued on the dailies here to push up. Yesterday put in yet another high, and I will look and see what this comes to later this afternoon. I quite like it when it goes in the afternoon and not the mornings. It's just a bit easier. However, he says that, and it's got probably the messiest it's been. It's over through the Asian session there, spiked up a little bit messy. But we'll see the shape it forms later on. Post 2 o'clock, I'll have a look at that, maybe on the long side, to see if we can get back to those double tops there. And it would probably be as simple as just dropping a trend line over the highs at that time, and that will give me the trigger. That's what I played for months with it on its previous bullish run, and they work quite well. Okay, and looking at the previous highs as targets. Okay, very simple way of trading it, but there we are. Doesn't have to be difficult. Right, that's pretty much it for me. Oh, Bitcoin. Dare I forget. I am looking at a different bit of software to use for these videos, which I will pop up there so you can actually see my screen as opposed to just what we're seeing here. So Bitcoin actually got up yesterday on the cash market there. It actually ran up as high as 40.95. It actually broke the sort of levels I was looking at on this prior the prior high here, but it's sort of close enough at the moment for that still to be the sort of resistance point. Obviously at this stage there's potential for further upside. There's lots of arguments about Musk manipulating this market as much as he can almost, and suggesting, well, okay then, if they make it a little bit cleaner on the energy side of things, or prove that it's about 50% cleaner, yeah, I'll accept Bitcoin again. It is just absolute manipulation in my book of these markets, but there we are. Likes of Ethereum pushed up yesterday and it's holding up better this morning as well, and Ripple, well, it's more consolidated. Ethereum seems to be the more, well, slightly more bullish one. Still Bitcoin outrunning all of these though, because I'm sorry I can't show you the Ethereum chart, but the Ethereum chart I'd be looking at 28.87 as a bit of a target if it can push up there. So that's the prior highs there, where it's got some decent horizontal resistance there. They may become a good target. Okay, that's it for me. I'll just check there's no other questions here. Nope, I will leave it to you. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.